Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And here with me today, I have a player I'd like you guys to meet. This here is Elijah Deravil. He is a defensive back out of Temple. Nice to meet you today, sir.
Nice to meet you too.
Hey, appreciate having you here, man. Want to get a chance to meet this guy. Obviously, man, you've done a lot there, for your team, really offering a lot of position diversity, and doing a lot of great things there for Temple. So, go ahead and get after it, buddy. Introduce yourself so we can get going.
All right, so my name is Elijah Deravil. I am born and raised in Miami, Florida. I attended North Miami Senior High School. Ended up signing out, going to Bethune-Cookman. After being there for a little while, I decided to, go to junior college and, go take the gritty route. A lot of people will see junior college as being very gritty, so I just knew I was built for that type of environment. Ended up signing to Temple University, and I finished out at Temple University for the rest of my college career.
Nice. Elijah, obviously, want to go back and maybe just kind of expound upon a little bit of what you talked about. So, first and foremost, man, how long have you played football?
Man, I've been playing football since I say about from the age of 7 years old. I started at 7.
Gotcha. So, as you're playing there early on in your youngin years, were you playing defense? You play a lot of guys play both ways. So, talk to me about how developed in the early days.
So I honestly started playing quarterback. I ended up playing running back. Then after playing running back for a little while, I started playing defense, started playing safety. And that's just after that, I was just pretty much being swapped all around. My coaches were pretty much using me wherever they felt like I'll be like my best at. So I was always a kid that was always rotated around a lot, always starting at different positions. Leading into our game week.
Gotcha. And as I was trying to really look at least a little bit on your high school stuff, I mean, I found myself on Huddle, and I was looking and I saw a guy who was actually listed as a corner slash free safety. I don't know what they played you more at in high school. Talk to me.
So in high school, I played both. I played corner and safety. It was games they'll have me start at corner if they wanted me to line up against a certain kid and challenge that kid and follow him around. That's what I did. And then there were other games, they had me play safety. You feel me? I was pretty much like a guy where wherever the team needed, like for coming into our game week, we needed somewhere for him to be for me to be plugged in. They'll plug me in and just had me at that position, and they just felt like they trusted me to that I'll be able to operate and just help my team out all in one.
Gotcha. Elijah, also have in my notes that along with some football, you dabbled at least a little bit in track and field, mostly as a jumper, running the hurdles as well.
Yeah,
Talk to me about you as a high school athlete, and maybe your fondest memory.
man. So I'll say with my high school athletic history, I did a lot. Man, I also did wrestling and played some basketball and everything. Also, I ran track, I ran hurdles. What I would say was my most fond moment of that time, I would really say it would be towards my basketball career because for me, when I started playing basketball, when I came in, I never really played basketball before, but I was always playing, out on the street, just playing off of regular
Sure.
athleticism. So I came in there. That was like my first year ever trying out, and I gave my shot, and I was able to make the team. I made the junior varsity team, but just it was a big accomplishment for me because a lot of kids, they grow up playing that their whole life and everything, and just me being able off of what I equipped from, outside basketball and coming in and just challenging guys and just being a natural competitor, it got me to be able to play basketball, which I really enjoyed.
Cool. So, it sounds as if, at least in the early days, I mean, along with a lot of people, really like you get drawn to one sport and then obviously eventually move to another. I'm assuming you're somewhat of a basketball fan.
Yeah, kind of. I was more so of a street basketball fan. Like,
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Um, but obviously, man, chose to pursue the game of football to its ultimate level, of course.
Mhm.
And as you're being recruited out of high school, you found yourself at Bethune-Cookman, an FCS school, HBCU school, and I don't know if that really went exactly the way that you wanted there early on. I mean, you come in, you're red shirt, and you're waiting. There's a lot of crap happening because we have a pandemic on the way, which completely killed a whole lot of hopes and dreams. And so early on for you, dude, having to continually jump through some hurdles in life. Talk to me about the early years of you as a college athlete.
The early years of me as a college athlete was honestly, it was a challenge, of course, coming out, coming to Bethune-Cookman and just, me being there, being on the FCS level, there's talent everywhere, and for me, I also had like the decision of maybe going to a junior college out of high school, but I didn't follow through with it. I was like, you know what? I want to see what the FCS level may be like and everything. So I ended up, going to Bethune-Cookman. And, after being there, I just felt like it would be best for me to go to junior college. I really wanted to challenge myself. I know that there will also be bounce backs that would also be there. And I just put myself in the hardest position. And in life, I feel like it's important that whenever you want to grow, you should put yourself in certain challenging situations, and it's going to show you your character, who you really are in that moment, and me just having faith in the Lord, I trusted God and I trusted the plan and I trusted the journey, and it brought me this far. But,
Yeah, and obviously it ended up taking you to Garden City Community College.
uh,
And as you had mentioned, I mean, it isn't necessarily a terrible thing going the JUCO route the first, as you first, get out of high school. I think a lot of people, doing that, a little concerned, but there's nothing shameful about it at all. A lot of great talent ends up going through the JUCO, but as you well know, it's not for the faint of heart. You really are tested early on when you're, going through the JUCO ranks. Talk to me about how it took a lot of grit and determination to get through it.
Man, my first day I got there, the amount of DBs that were there, it was just like, whoa, like that was the biggest shock to me, like the amount of guys that were there. And it was like, bro, only two guys are going to be playing. And it was just, I just told myself I'm going to make sure I grind and outwork everybody, and doing things on and off the field to better put me in a better position and give me a better shot. And just like when there's like cold days, it's cold out there in Kansas, and a lot of people don't want to go out there to the field and do the extra stuff, but I'm like, nah, like I got to do what I got to do. I want this, and I feel like my hunger is what really like kept me going throughout that time. And just also just seeing like, and also being there and seeing how, with the thing about JUCO, like a lot of guys come in and it's like, man, like I don't like this, and they quit, and I just didn't have no desire and quit in me. Like I just always had the grit to just keep going and keep persevering.
Well, obviously, man, you did. You got through that 1 year of JUCO, and Temple rolls around and says, "Hey, come to Philly, play with us." So talk about that transfer. Getting that opportunity with Temple.
So coming in, getting that opportunity, it was honestly a great opportunity. I was under Stan Drayton was my head coach, at the time, and I just really believed in the plan that he had for us. Also not only for football, but also as being a man. And I feel like that was something that was very important. Because that's something that every man is gonna need down the line in life. But with Temple giving me the opportunity, and Coach DJ Elliott was also my DC my first year out there, and him just trusting me and just bringing me in, and everyone treating me like family. It was a great opportunity.
Cool. So, the other thing, again, that happened, I mean, you come in, 2023, you are number 27 on the field. And then this past season, you were number 4. That was your jersey number. And the single digit there for Temple really means a lot. It really means a lot to people. The whole idea of being Temple tough is just something else. talk to me about really what that means to you, getting that recognition.
Man, what it means to me, well, first, it's an honor. Honestly, I see that as a blessing because it's a lot of great guys that are in that category, and just being able to be one of the guys to be in that category is all in one a blessing itself. But just being a single digit is just, man, you just got to be relentless. You got to be tough, and you have to be someone that, even through tough circumstances, that you maintain the same character, that that you're someone that your teammates can always look up to, that even on up and down days, they see you and you're still going hard. You're still coming in with the same mentality. Like, I'm coming to get this done. I'm coming to go hard every day, and just coming to compete every day, and just being that guy that was selected for that. It was just an honor and a blessing.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, they give those single digits to those who exemplify leadership on and off the field.
Yes.
So obviously, they're putting a whole lot of trust and faith in you to be one of the leaders there for your program.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it is kind of neat to be amongst the elite there. So Elijah, I want to talk about you as a football player. As I had mentioned out the get, obviously we're looking at a guy who's very versatile, who's done a lot there. Talk to me about maybe how you would describe yourself as an athlete, maybe like your overall experience there, for your defense.
I'll describe myself as, once again, very versatile. I could play anywhere in the defense, and just I'm physical, you know, and I just love the game, and I'm just gritty, and it's what I would say what really, like, sparks what sparks everything for me is just my ability to be able to be at any position in the field and communicate well with my guys. And I feel like that's what's really great with me being versatile. It sharpened my skills and sharpened my IQ of me knowing, where other guys may need to be, and it just helped put myself in better position in, certain scenarios and everything. So
Gotcha. When I looked you up on PFF, it was kind of interesting because they actually had you listed as a weak side linebacker.
yeah.
And I mean, I'm thinking he's 6 foot, 200 pounds. I don't know if that defines him well enough.
Yeah.
And maybe that has something to do with maybe the schemes you guys are running. Describe that defense there, and really, what you guys were able to do like regularly there for Temple.
Yeah, so we ran a 4-2-5. With me being listed as a weak side linebacker, that was, PFF making their judgments. But, majority of the time I was to the field, throughout the season, I rotated from playing nickel, the star position, to boundary safety, to field safety. My other years prior, I played safety and rotated and played corner, throughout the season and everything. But yeah, we ran a 4-2-5. We brought some pressure. We ran a lot of man, a lot of quarters defense, and yeah.
So, I mean, again, I don't necessarily think that there are scouts that are looking at you as a linebacker, even though that's how PFF had you listed. I think most people are looking at you as, a guy there in the secondary who can add depth at multiple positions. But the other thing, of course, is bro, you've got a ton of experience on special teams.
Yeah.
They have used you a lot over your time there at Temple. Talk to me about your attitude and approach towards special teams and your favorite position on special teams as well.
So with special teams, man, Temple, they harped on special teams so much, and special teams is, it's really everything. That's what sets the tone for defense, and that's what sets the tone for your team and for the game going on. So how I came and when I first came in, I was like, man, like, looking at the older guys that were there, and I was like, man, I'm really gonna buy in with this. I'm really bought in with special teams. And I feel like special teams is it's a way you create your identity also as a player. Although you may not be a starter, or you may not be in a rotation, but if you come in and you give your all on special teams, it allow coaches and everyone to see your value as a player and how much you really love the sport and how much you really love just football. So Temple, they really used me on punt return a lot. Uh, Yeah, well, they used me on punt a lot and everything. I was a gunner. I love, you feel me? I really love, the gunner position. That's, because I feel like you get the best of both worlds. You get to give a release like a receiver, and you get to go down and tackle a punter and everything, and also kickoff too. Kickoff is really important. That sets the tone for your team, man. I feel like, and yeah, and I also did a lot of KOR. A lot of KOR, which is really, really good for me too. So.
Cool. I like kind of like the way that you described like your experience there on special teams, and even some of your favorite things about special teams. That being again, uh, running passionately, like just kind of, with this sense of, hey, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to set the tone.
Yeah.
And so it definitely helps. It helps the whole game really. And I think that there are some teams that just they don't focus as much on special teams as maybe perhaps they should. But it's nice that that's one thing that you bring to the table more so than a lot of other people out there at your position. So, Elijah, I want to give you an opportunity to talk up some of your boys there at Temple. Talk to me about some of your teammates, maybe who has impressed you the most during your time there.
Man, uh, I'll say who impressed me the most during my time there is my teammate Beno Sweke. It's a lot of guys, man. Beno Sweke, man, that kid, he's relentless, Like he comes no matter what the situation is, he always continues to keep his head down and continue to work. And having him as my like partner in the sense of, you know, even during spring camp and everything, like later on in the week, we're putting in extra work. We're doing extra things behind the scenes, and we just kept chasing after it together, and that's like and he played an important role to also my journey and everything, and just seeing him, he really impressed me with his growth from the year that when he came into Temple and his most recent season that he's having his last year right now currently, and I'm just really excited to watch him play. I can't wait to see what he does in this upcoming 2025 season.
Awesome. I was looking at this past season, and if I'm being honest, maybe not exactly what you guys wanted this past year with only a couple of wins.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not trying to make it, even worse, throwing salt in the wound, but really what I'm trying to focus on again is some of that character that you bring to the table. And obviously, when these things maybe aren't exactly going your way, what helps motivate you?
What helps motivate me is just finishing till the end. It's although the scoreboard may not represent what you would want it to represent, but you can't let that define you as a player. Like you still have to continue to go out there and punish the other team. I'm just not gonna let them walk all over me. Like you're gonna feel me, and I feel like for defense and everything, like that's what we brought to the table, despite what the scoreboard was. Like we're gonna continue to go out there. We're gonna, punish those other guys, despite what the scoreboard says. So
Gotcha. But that doesn't mean that you didn't have, some decent moments this past year. The one game that I felt you guys did, exceptional job in was Florida against Florida Atlantic.
yeah.
So if you can remember maybe a moment out of that game, talk to me about that game. About what you might see as like one of the best, I don't know, plays in that game.
I say the overtime play that I feel like that's what defined our defense. Like that's what defined us as who we were. Like that showed our identity as players, and our offense also coming out there and doing what they did, in that game. And I just feel like with our defense, man, like we just told each other, like when we were going into the overtime, we were like, man, we're gonna be all right. Like we're gonna get the job done, and we're no matter what the circumstances were, we continue to keep our head down and we came out victorious.
Gotcha. Maybe it's from another game, but what do you feel is the biggest highlight of your career?
I'll say the North Texas game. Me being able to lay a big hit on the running back that they tried to run a swing pass to the running back and everything, and yeah, that was just I just had the identity of like that I'm gonna be physical and I'm gonna lay the dude out, and That's what I was able to do, and it hyped my team up, and I feel like from that hit, it allowed us everyone to pretty much play free. Like guys was just like, man, like we just gonna, just continue to knock guys' heads off. So that's the mentality, the physicality that we brought to the table at that game.
I mean, certainly for a guy at your position, like you got to be fearless.
Yeah.
You got to be a big hitter. You got to finish. So it's nice to have that mentality out there on the field. So I do want to get a chance to meet this guy a little bit more, maybe perhaps outside of football. We've taken a whole lot of time talking about you and your overall history there as a football player, but talk to me about maybe something else that you want some people to know about you, man, whether it be your hobbies, interests, passions, fun facts, or anything else that you want to share. Hit me with it.
I want to share that I'm a follower of Christ. That is my foundation. That is what got me through the toughest times of my life. Just keeping my head down and just continuing to seek the Lord. You know that that just also kept me away from distractions too. Like keeping myself grounded in my faith is what separated me from a lot of the other guys. That maybe wanted to do other things. So and but yeah, man, I'm a chill guy. I don't do too much. I'm a family guy. I love family. I love friends. I love being around like family and friends. And yeah. And I say, like, for me, my biggest inspiration is my mother. Definitely my mother. My mother and my father, they both came from Haiti, and they came into America, and that they came and they had a work ethic that was impeccable, that gave me and my sister an opportunity, to be able to come this far in life. So they really are like a great motivation to me, and I feel like their work ethic is something that leaked over into me as a child. Despite whatever any situation was, it allowed me to, persevere.
Cool, man. It's definitely helped get you to where you're at. And obviously, had some good times there at Temple. I still want to talk at least a little bit more about other things that aren't necessarily football related. So I want to see if maybe I can find a little something to talk about.
All right.
And so bear with me for just a second. Uh, talk to me a little bit about I don't know, maybe favorite home cooked meal. I don't know if there's maybe some Haitian food that
Yeah,
you can share.
legume, D blanc and sauce pois. So basically, what that is sauce pois is like black beans, and the D blanc is white rice, and legume is like a type of. It's not like a stew, but it's like it has vegetables in it and turkey. They could do turkey, they could do ground beef and everything. And that was the first thing that I had when I came home, and it just was a great meal for me.
All right, cool. Uh, trying to go through a couple more fun questions. Do you remember the last song you heard on your iPod, maybe as you were working out or something?
Man, the last song I was listening to a worship song. Last song is Great and Mighty is Our God. That was the last song that I pretty much was listening to before then.
Gotcha. That doesn't necessarily get one hyped up, does it?
Well, with me and once again with my faith, that's something that just puts me in a position where, like, for me, I don't see my like the Lord is my strength in a sense, like honestly, of course I'm gonna come to it with my mindset and I'm gonna go hard. But what gives me that extra push in life and just in everything that I do is the Lord. I can't take no credit from that. And that's just something that I grew up on, and and it brought me this far. It kept me safe along my journey. So
Bro, I could certainly appreciate it, on many different levels, but I do, appreciate your response there to that.
yeah.
So, a couple more and then we'll wrap things up. You a big movie buff? Maybe what was like the last movie you saw?
The last movie I saw, um, I'll say the last movie I saw was The Longest Yard. The Longest Yard was the last movie I saw. Yeah, I watch a lot of reruns and old movies. I watch a lot of old shows back. I feel like the new stuff is all right now, but I love the older shows. But also, also I watch Squid Games. Yeah, that recently just came out, but that's a little while. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's out there for people. So, hey, to each their own, man. I mean, whatever gets you through the day. You're sitting back, relaxing. Just you're done with a workout or something, and you're sitting there waiting. Um, uh, Growing up in Miami, I'm pretty sure fan of a lot of people at the professional level. Who was that for you, man? Was there a player or a team or something?
I'll say a team. I'll say like teams like Miami Central, Northwestern, those schools like the
I'm
guys that
saying professional.
guys that are professional.
Yeah.
I'll say like Amari Cooper. I'm a big fan of his work ethic, and Elijah Morris. A lot of guys, from Florida and everything. So yeah, those guys there, pretty much that, they inspired me. Just seeing how their story was and what they came from and where they were at. Being from Miami, Florida, and going through the tough places that they went through in life and everything. So,
Gotcha. Who you think's playing it at the elite level right now in the NFL?
uh man.
Like more or less at your position, maybe like nickel safety.
Um, hmm. I'll say right now, but it's not for me. For me, I right now they're not from Miami, Florida. I'll say for me it's Cooper DeJean. Like I just watching him play was like him. He's currently playing at the elite level that I really admire. Like especially at the star of the nickel position. He's and especially with his performance at the Super Bowl, which is really amazing for me to watch. And yeah,
Cool. Well, hopefully one day you'll get a chance to play alongside these guys.
yeah,
Obviously, man, we've had a good time sitting here talking about you, your journey, and you as a guy off the field as well. As we close up shop, talk to all these teams, tell them what they'd be getting if they took a chance on you.
mm.
Go ahead and hit them with your pitch and your closing thoughts.
All right. Man, my pitch and my closing thoughts. For me, this is my motto in life, just seek the Lord, just continuously seek the Lord and just continue to work hard. That's just my motto. That's what gets me through life. And yeah, that's just the words I like to leave them with.
Gotcha. Obviously, when we're looking at you as a player, we're looking at a player who's very versatile, who's a great leader, has a good mindset, is a tone setter, very hard worker, who's willing to put forth the work, man. And
Yeah.
obviously, wanting your shot. When is that pro day?
March 27th.
So March 22nd. Want to wish you very best of luck with
Uh,
that.
it's March 27th.
Okay, and everything else that you got going on, man. Just want to wish you all the best.
All right. Thank you.
Sure. Once again, I got Elijah Deravil, defensive back out of Temple. Check him out.
All right.